KSI, one of the biggest stars in the world, if you think about it, with his social media following. He had his fight against Joe Fournier, a few other fights on the card as well, but that's the one we're going to talk about, not for long, but we'll give it a couple of minutes. KSI winning the fight by elbow. It was an elbow, right? It was clean on the money as well. Before we talk about the fight specifically, I mean, this KSI thing just keeps on going, doesn't it? This Misfits thing, another sold-out venue. I'm guessing decent pay-per-view numbers for DAZN. He really is just a superstar. He says what he wants and he gets the crowd going like a pop star.
Definitely, I'm a big fan of his. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of the whole movement, but I enjoy it, so I'm not going to lie. And I can reveal on our show that it broke 300,000 pay-per-view buys.
Jesus.
Which came to me about an hour ago. It is, but it's not when you think that he's got 41 million social media followers, and regardless of whether he's not a true boxer, he's definitely developing his skills. I thought he looked leagues above Joe Fournier, frankly.
Yeah.
Who looked like an old man in there. I know he's probably playing possum as well and waiting to counter and clock him with a big right hand, which he nearly did a couple of times. But JJ, KSI, got no fear, has he? He's just doing his thing. Doesn't matter if he wins or loses, frankly. So it's glory or bust, and he's got the Midas touch, hasn't he? And everything he touches turns to gold. The accusations about the elbow, I think they're founded. In a real boxing ring with a boxing board of control sanctioning the bout, you could have appealed it. He might have been disqualified for the elbow. It probably was a no contest.
Yeah.
Joe Fournier can appeal it. KSI isn't going to fight him again. I don't think anyone wants to see it again either.
No, we move on.
Tommy Fury in the ring. He had a big scuffle with Idris Virgo.
Yeah.
Props to Big John Fury for breaking them up and not getting involved. I liked the face-off. They did it right. That's what should be happening in boxing, that WWE-style face-off. And then a match. And then a match afterwards.
Simple.
Yeah. I think those two fight. The big question for me, Addy, as I say, 300,000 pay-per-view buys plus, I've had confirmed. You heard it here first. Do they fill out a stadium, Tommy and KSI? And has KSI got any chance against Tommy? Now, that's a big ask for him.
Yeah, some good questions there that I guess we'll find out the answers to very, very soon. Going back to that 300,000 sort of pay-per-view number that's absolutely incredible. Bear in mind, Canelo fought John Ryder, the week before, and there are rumors that did around 250,000. I know it's a different price point, but that goes to show just how big KSI is. And let's not forget Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul earlier on in the year did 750,000.
Yeah.
I mean, these YouTube stars are just, you can understand why broadcasters and promoters are lapping it up, and you can understand why DAZN continually puts on these events, because it's a big win for DAZN.
You cannot fight them. You can't fight them and push them to the sides. We're better off having it involved as an ad hoc quasi part of boxing than it being over there somewhere where it's unadministered. You know, I know you were a fan of the tag team stuff last time. I wasn't. I'm not a fan of two 400-pound men who look like they can have a heart attack fighting
I
each
was
other.
frightened. It's funny. I'm happy you say that, because I just want to get something out there, because I know a lot of people commented on it, and I was scared before the event, and I actually spoke to someone at DAZN. I says, what do we do if someone does have a heart attack? Like, genuine question. Like, what do I do on stage and, as part of the broadcast if someone does go down? Because one of the guys I was watching, his name's Boogie. I watched his YouTube channel just to, get some reference about him.
Boogie 6988, isn't it?
I think, oh, go on, look at you, you've done your research.
And Wings of Redemption was his opponent.
Wings of Redemption was his opponent.
Real names?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. You lost me there. But one of the guys, Boogie, was doing a little selfie video on his YouTube channel, walking down the corridor, talking about the event. He was out of breath doing that. And I was like, this is not going to end well. And that's why they done the rounds, making them a minute. There was talks about a 2-minute round, then a minute 30. Then I was like, okay, maybe we can only do a minute. But yeah, those type of events, I'm not a fan of at all.
Well,
The
they're
other
just
guys,
doing it.
they fight.
Addy, for me, I know you're working on it in the broadcast terms, and I was on Saturday night because I was presenting from a talkSPORT studio, right? Thrown to the commentary team. But there's no point just stretching it to make it Fellini's circus of the absurd for the sake of it. These are the things that belong in Federico Fellini movies with absurdism. There's no point just doing it for the sake of it. I like the idea of people like Elle Brooke and all those kind of guys. I know that she's in the other organisation at the moment, and Kingpin. But I like these guys crossing over and making a difference and wanting to become real boxers. I like that aspiration. But those two guys can never.
Is that not the problem?
No. She's in the gym day in day out. Those two fat fellas, right? If I can say that, right?
You can.
Those two 400-pound fat fellas, whose arms looked like super lightweights. Yeah. They were never going to hurt each other because they wouldn't. All they'd have been able to do is like bang into each other and knock each other over. And I was more worried about them falling over and not being able to get back up again.
I genuinely,
or the ring canvas, or the ring planks breaking, or something like that.
Yeah, because you're talking 800 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean 800 pounds is a lot, but there are some people in the influencer world, YouTube, crossover world, that say it's almost becoming too much like real boxing. That they want just influencers fighting. There's this weird debate now going on between sort of some people who like the idea of these guys becoming or trying to, quote unquote, be real boxers. And then we're losing what it started off as, which is your gimmicky influencers versus influencers with not much ability.
Look, I think we haven't gone far enough into seeing it yet to do the counter argument. Okay. I look, they're doing it for their audience.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a crossover. And I do think there's things boxing can learn from it, but there's things about boxing that they can learn as well. And they're stretching a little bit with these freak shows.
Yeah.
Because it's a freak show anyway.
No, it is. It is. Tommy Fury, as you say, looks like he set up the KSI fight. Last time out, Jake Paul, now KSI, which almost, I guess, for me, says he's now left professional boxing in the dust. This is what he wants. And I don't blame him. He's going to make more money fighting these two than he would have done in a professional career. Let's be honest. I mean, he would have made a few million fighting Jake. He's going to make a few million fighting KSI. Some people have laughed it off saying he should concentrate on real boxing. What's your take on it?
It's a good headache that he's got.
Yes.
It's a headache that doesn't need a cure. Fight KSI.
Yeah.
I think he probably beats KSI. I think he does beat KSI.
He should beat KSI.
He should beat KSI. Do the Jake Paul rematch later in the year after Jake Paul has beaten Nate Diaz, potentially. Go that route. Fill your boots, fill your bank account. He's got a young wife, a young baby. He's a young man. Yes, of course he wants to prove himself as a boxer, but, you don't get paid for overtime. And there's so many boxers that don't get paid well enough anyway.
Agreed.
Coming up. As I say, it's a difficult headache to have. But it's a great headache to have. Take the difficult out of it. Don't worry about British title, fighting all the other light heavyweights in the UK. Go the route of big fight nights and money. Be an influencer. That's where he's most known. Yeah. Love Island. That's where he got his resonance. Yes, of course, he's from a very famous fighting family with the Furies. But it's a no-brainer for me. Absolute no-brainer, Eddie.
Yeah, the only thing that I guess there will be some conversation on is what weight this take place, because I was on stage with him and that boy is a big boy, Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much fat on him. KSI is ripped and lean. Jake Paul's big as well. So KSI clearly undersized. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.